You're watching Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. No matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making Philadelphia Eagles Now a part of your day. And for those of you out there who aren't subscribed, do so right now for daily Eagles coverage. Also, if you are subscribed, we're able to answer your questions during our mailbag segments. We begin with the $5 super chat from Lion Fighter. What's up, fam? Just wanted to say hello. Go Birds. Lion Fighter, a.k.a. LFX. Salute to you. Thanks for your support, of Eagles Now. Cool Reigns. Can we get Avonte Maddox back this season, or is he done for the season? As of Thursday, he did not practice because of a toe injury. The good news for Philadelphia, of course, they locked up that number 1 seed, first round bye, gives him more time. But at the time of him going out on the 24th of December, he was out indefinitely with a pretty severe toe injury. I would be surprised if he was available for the divisional round, but getting C.J. Gardner-Johnson back helps fill that void. Borat, very nice. How much? Should the Eagles hire Lovie Smith as defensive coordinator if Jonathan Gannon leaves? This has been a massive subject matter across Eagles Twitter and across the internet. I do have some thoughts on Lovie Smith really quickly, and this is something that I've been wanting to get to over the last couple of weeks. Lovie Smith, I'm not understanding the infatuation with him, because I understand that the Eagles fans want him to get hired as a defensive coordinator, not as a head coach. But Lovie Smith as a head coach has had a very spotty track record. People are still living on the fact that he made it to the Super Bowl as the head coach of the Bears all the way back in 2005 when Rex Grossman was his quarterback. He is a good defensive mind. So from that standpoint, I wouldn't necessarily hate it. But Lovie Smith, going to that track record, hasn't gotten the job done in a little while, and his defenses have kind of been average. 11-27 his last 3 years as an NFL head coach. And in 5 years as the head coach of the University of Illinois in Champaign, 17-39. Now, I do enjoy how the Texans played defense this past year. They were aggressive, they were feisty, and they didn't have a lot of good defensive personnel, and the Eagles do. But I feel as though Lovie Smith is entering that category of defensive consultant for a guy who's been in the league for a long time as compared to DC. I could be wrong. I'd be surprised if the Eagles went this route, but certainly a name to put on the radar. If you love the Eagles, make sure you subscribe because we'll answer your questions. We'll give you daily Eagles content that's both informative and entertaining, and we do it all. Definitely take pride in our versatility. We'll talk draft prospects, free agent targets, trade rumors, breaking news. Subscribe and lock us in if you love the Eagles. Next up, it's Brandon Ford. Do you think Jalen Hurts is not throwing because he's still somewhat injured or the coaching staff being conservative? I think he's still injured. Given what he said, yeah, I'm a little bit sore. We're lucky that we have this bye week. And then you couple that with the fact that Nick Sirianni said he came out of the game really, really sore. For him to not throw, I understand that the Eagles don't play until next weekend. He's a quarterback, though. Quarterbacks throw every single day. I'm sounding the alarms a little bit. I am definitely a little bit concerned. Lion Fighter, should we go after Josh Jacobs or pay Miles Sanders? Josh Jacobs is definitely going to cost more. The NFL's leading rusher this year is set to get paid. He's also pretty young, entering his mid-20s. I think that Miles Sanders can be had for a little bit cheaper. And Miles Sanders behind this offensive line surpassed 1,000 rushing yards for the first time in his career. He was finally able to stay healthy. I thought he played really, really good football as well. So I might go Miles Sanders just because my philosophy in building out a roster is not paying running backs all that much money. And Miles Sanders is interesting because he's a really good player who I think is somewhat underrated. He'd be cheaper than Josh Jacobs, but also because he's set to be a free agent. If he gets $10 to $12 million, could the Eagles draft a guy like Bijan Robinson with their number 10 overall pick? They don't need him, but he's a special playmaker, and as a pure football player, he might be the best football player in this draft class. Before we continue to move forward and answer more of your questions, Philadelphia Eagles Now Today is sponsored by Fume. Head to tryfume.com/chatsports to join the movement here. We all have bad habits, right? And we certainly know how hard they can be to kick, especially when it comes to those bad habits. Our sponsor, Fume, is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from the bad habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. I didn't expect much out of Fume when I got it, but the minty sensation is really powerful, and it really hits the back of the throat and feels really good. The Journey Pack comes with 3 flavors from Fume: white cranberry, maple pepper, and crisp mint. And I love the design of the device as well. Fume is not a vape, though. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habits. And the easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one. And Fume is designed to perfectly do just that. Head to tryfume.com/chatsports, code chatsports to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That is tryfum.com/chatsports. Use the code chatsports to save an additional 10% off of your order today. John Galt, hey Chase, more of a fraud, Dak Prescott or Dak Prescott? John Galt, you're the man. You never disappoint. I saw you in the Vikings chat last weekend. That means that you're a Chat Sports real one as well. Dak Prescott is a fraud. Dak Prescott is overrated. He's a glorified Kirk Cousins, in my opinion. And I hope that he throws a back-breaking interception against the Bucs on Monday night. That'll be so sweet. How about them Cowboys? Lion Fighter, how important is it to establish the run regardless of who we play next? Very important. Just to take the pressure off of Jalen Hurts so that he doesn't have to run, but also so he doesn't have to throw the football too much. ADW, the beat. Should we go cornerback with number 10 and bona fide linebacker with our second first-round pick? When you look at cornerback, a couple of good players are going to be available at number 10. Here's a list of Mel Kiper Jr.'s top cornerback draft prospects. Joey Porter is a player who I love. He's a dog. Keely Ringo, I can't believe that Mel Kiper Jr. has him this low. Christian Gonzalez, Deontay Banks, and Devin Witherspoon, other players who are expected to get drafted early. And then to linebacker. If you lose TJ Edwards because another team pays him $10 to $15 million and you lose Kaiser White, you might have to go linebacker because then you're left with an inexperienced Nakobe Dean, who I like, but you need another backer. Drew Sanders at Arkansas, Jack Campbell, Trenton Simpson, Noah Sewell, Dorian Williams, some names to keep an eye out for. Let's get to that Bijan Robinson question, too, if we can, from Cool Reigns, because I did bring up Bijan Robinson a little bit earlier. Bijan Robinson is a really special player, and Cool Reigns had this. A mock draft today had the Eagles taking Bijan Robinson with our 10th overall pick. And I've said this. This is my team-building philosophy, right? I think that you need to find a quarterback, you need to protect the quarterback, you need to get after the quarterback, and you don't pay running backs big money. But Bijan Robinson is a unique player for Philadelphia because Bijan is a player that is probably better than Miles Sanders and is going to be cheaper for the next 3 or 4 years than Miles Sanders. And he's even better of a pass catcher than Sanders. And his production has just been fantastic. 2021 for Bijan, 195 carries for 1,100 yards. He caught 26 balls for 295, average yards per carry of 5.8. He had 11 rushing touchdowns in 2021 and 4 receiving touchdowns. This past year, he was even better. He ran for nearly 1,600 yards, which is up. 6.1 average yards per carry, up. He had 18 rushing touchdowns to 2 receiving touchdowns. Dude is special. And I hate the philosophy of drafting a running back at number 10, but Bijan is one of one. I would be intrigued. Your favorite Eagles player of all time, who is it? A lot of OGs that you can think about. Going back to the Kelly Green days with guys like Reggie White, Ron Jaworski, Chuck Bednarik way back in the day, or some of the other OGs like a Brian Dawkins, Brian Westbrook, Donovan McNabb, Troy Vincent, or some of the recent guys like Jason Kelsey. Let us know down below in the comment section.